Hello and welcome to Next Week Now, next week's new way of knowing the new news before even the news knows what's the news. Now, I'm Ethan Yoon, the world's most trusted newsman. Without further ado, let's dive into next week's news. Now, to begin, next week, Robert Mueller investigation is going to ramp up here at UT. We all know most of the investigating Mueller is doing is in the Trump administration, but this little sidetrack might be the final piece he needs to put those commies in jail. The TSTV evening news show, KVR News, is going to be subpoenaed to settle once and for all whether or not they are the backstabbing Soviet spies we've been saying they are. The subpoena comes from after an anonymous tip from a really sexy and sophisticated Asian news reporter. KVR News, or as we call it, KGB News, is a lesser known news show compared to us, but they only talk about the news that's actually happening, unlike us, a show that discusses news that will happen. And that's only what's on screen. Behind the camera, Mueller will discover that KVR News is actually a bunch of no-good communist meanies who go around taking my tortellini, Austin's clothing, and most importantly, never inviting it to us those parties that they throw. And that's only what we know. Robert Mueller will be looking in depth next week at who knows how many skeletons they'll find in the KVR News closet. It could be 2, but it could also be 5. 5 whole skeletons. Here are some other things that we think Daddy Mueller will uncover next week. A signed copy of John Green's Paper Town, which, as we all know, is the most communist book in all of modern history. The entire discography of Drake. That speaks for itself. And finally, the most incriminating evidence of all, a stockpile of Apple products, the only products that are made by Chinese babies. So, obviously communists. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ethan, who cares if they're fake communist news? There are so many other fake news outlets out there, so what will it matter? Ethan, are you so vain and insecure that any thought of competition, especially on your own network, forces you to lash out? Ethan, are you willing to destroy careers and your own integrity just to say you're slightly better than KVR News, a show much like your own that nobody watches? Yes. Yes, I am. Now, 2 weeks ago, Subway was robbed, and then robbed again in less than 20 minutes. After intensive investigation on my $30 couch, while covered almost completely in Cool Ranch Doritos, I have determined that the robber was simply trying to beat their last high score. Their last robbery was 34 minutes and 20 seconds in between, an embarrassing length.
Wrong.
What?
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're on. Your investigation is wrong. I represent Subway. And I will have you know that Jimmy John's was behind the Subway robbery.
Okay, sure. What makes you think that?
The Jimmy John's and Subway feud has gone back to the Kennedy era, when the White House couldn't decide which sandwich place to cater JFK's funeral. Since then, tensions have been pre-nuclear. But after this robbery, they're worse.
What? What? How can they be worse?
Any mention of JJ's in a Subway restaurant, that results in an automatic death by firing squad.
Whoa. That cannot be legal.
Ethan, what is legal in these trying times?
Okay, all right. I didn't know the inner working of sandwich shops determined so much.
Ethan, you know so little. It's become so much. It's become so much, Ethan. It's begun a cold war, a cold cut war. The only sub you can buy in Subway shops now are cold cut combos. And let me tell you, I may represent Subway, but cold cuts are just boring, man. I miss the Italian BMT.
All right, so what is Subway's next course of action?
If you're not with Subway, you're against humanity. Our people are everywhere. If we hear a mention of the JJ Gargantuan, we kick a pregnant woman in the stomach.
Wow.
You have to live with the burden of miscarriage.
Oh my goodness.
If someone makes a transaction inside of Jimmy John's, we cook and eat 12 orphans.
Oh my God.
And then we serve you the leftovers in dirty Tupperware.
Oh, okay.
And if someone sinks their teeth into a sandwich made by James Jonathan's hands. We will have to enter a woman in her mid-20s into extreme credit card debt. She won't be able to rent an apartment, buy a car. When she walks into the grocery store or to the bank, across the aisles, all she's going to see is hate.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Better get back to it.
Wait, where you go? Subway employee, everybody. Okay. All right. The Bat Bridge. What is it? Is it a bridge of socks filled with meat that have wings? A bridge of hipster mammals that think they're unique because they can fly? A date location that requires no commitment and no money and means they aren't interested in you? Well, none of that matters anymore. That's right, next week's The Bats Under Congress Bridge will be relocated due to gentrification. With the new wave of trendy beekeepers slowly taking over America, the bats will be flushed out as they can no longer afford to keep up with the earning potential of bees. Bees make honey. Some bats, apparently, have sacs under their wings where they mix saliva and urine, and then they secrete that on roost sites. This is called salting. Sometimes my roommate does some salting when he comes back from his frat parties. Not only will the bats be moved, but many other Austin landmarks are sadly going to be relocated due to various reasons. Peter Pan Mini Golf has been bought out and is going to be replaced by a Mar-a-Lago. Graffiti Park will be demolished and replaced by British white people. And Lady Bird Lake is going to be drained and filled with the dead bodies of the relocated bats, and the name will be changed to the Trail of Ears. Sponsored by the people who redid Speedway. Now, as all of you sports fans are aware, this weekend is the Super Bowl. Everyone across the country will be tuning into the televisions to find out which soup can fit into the best bowl. Or, at least, that's how I think it works. Listen, folks, the truth is I don't know anything about sports and will kill anyone who tries to teach me anything about them. Nevertheless, let's idiots playing the Super Bowl. While most Americans might be betting on their favorite sporting teams, the Goop Men and the Flag Boys, we here at Next Week Now have our own beloved champion that we've got our hearts set on. And we're going to convince you that this Sunday's Super Bowl winner is going to be none other than Bernie Sanders in this rendition of How Bernie Could Still Win, Soup Edition. Now, how do I know Bernie Sanders is going to win the Super Bowl? Well, for starters, who could possibly eat more soup than Bernie? One time I was walking home from work and Bernie was crossing the street towards me. He thought that my bag of seashells was actually solid soup and attempted to eat all of it. Oh, silly Bernie. Oh, my goodness. Nobody's going to out-soup Bernie this weekend. And Bernie's biggest advantage? His age. That's right. You wouldn't think that age could actually be a benefit in the sports game event, but it's true. You see, when Bernie has control of the football, he can simply walk towards the goal line and no one will tackle him. Why? Because no one wants to tackle a helpless old man. Unless that old man is my stepdad, Jerry. It's actually a great idea. Can someone sign up my stepdad, Franklin, for some football games? I would definitely pay to watch my stepdad, Logan Thomas, get beat to hell. Anyway. Back to Bernie. Bernie's just going to stroll on by like nothing's even going to happen to him. He's just going to stroll to the goal. And they're going to say, oh, Bernie, get out of it. Get the hell out of it. What are you doing there on the field, Bernie? You don't belong there. Come over and get some bagels. That's right, Bernie. Get some frickin' bagels, you socialist piece of crap. We don't like socialism football. We only eat socialism bagels. Bernie's not going to listen to them. Oh, no. He's going to win this thing. In fact, I think we've got a picture of Bernie's win of the Super Bowl. We have a picture of Bernie in the Super Bowl. Let's see it. Let's see it. And of course, as Next Week Now regulars probably know, there is a loophole in the Constitution that states that the presidents can be determined by Super Bowl matches, meaning that if and when Bernie wins this weekend, he'll also retroactively win the 2016 election. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is How Bernie Could Still Win. Here's more on the Super Bowl with Tess.